war now in its second week following the Hamas attack on Israel. Palestinians in Gaza running out of fuel, water, and basic supplies for life.
Joining us now is Hatem Abdaya from the U.S. Palestinian Community Network. Hatem, thank you so much for being here with us.
I appreciate it.
The United Nations has warned of this growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. What are you hearing right now about the situation in Gaza and as well in the West Bank?
Really, Gaynor, it's a genocide. 2,500 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, 8,000 injured, an astonishing figure of over 430,000 displaced Palestinians within Gaza, and the Israelis, as you mentioned, cutting off fuel, electricity, water, and food from the region. Plus, they are demanding an evacuation of 1.1 million Palestinians from the north of the Gaza Strip to the south. And there is no room, there is no capacity, there are no resources. Not enough space in hospitals, not enough resources and capacity in those hospitals. This is really a war crime by the Israelis. Devastating the region with bombs on a daily, hourly basis, and then telling the people in Gaza that they can't get out. When they try to leave on the Egyptian side, the Rafah crossing, the Israelis bomb that crossing. We just got reports that some of the Palestinians who are trying to evacuate, even though the vast majority are saying we have nowhere to go, we are already refugees twice in Gaza and we have nowhere to go, but some of them who are trying to leave were bombed by the Israelis as well. So this is not only a humanitarian crisis, it's really a political crisis. It's really become a genocide, and the Israelis are committing war crimes on an hourly basis. And unfortunately, the U.S. government is complicit because they're not demanding from them to stop. And we send $4 to $5 billion worth of military aid of my tax dollars and yours to Israel to commit these crimes every year.
The U.S. has pledged its support to Israel in this conflict, and just this morning, the president tweeted out, "We must not lose sight of the fact that the overwhelming majority of Palestinians had nothing to do with the Hamas's appalling attack and are suffering as a result of them." And yet we have this humanitarian crisis happening with a bunch of civilians.
And if that was the case, and if he meant what he said, then he wouldn't be emboldening the Israelis to commit the crimes that they're committing. And this is not a surprise. What happened a week ago should not have been a surprise to anybody. This is a unified Palestinian resistance in Gaza and the rest of Palestine that are fighting back because for decades, over 75 years, Israel has illegally occupied Palestine, has demolished homes, has stolen land, has burned down olive fields, has arrested people in the streets for doing what we do, what we did yesterday with 15,000 people in the streets of downtown just for protesting. You become a political prisoner. There's 5,000 political prisoners that Israel has been holding without any charges, including 2 first cousins once removed of mine in the West Bank. So, lip service about people in the Palestinian civilians who are being affected here by the president means nothing when he is not doing anything about it. In fact, he's doing the opposite. He's emboldening Israel, just like the Western Europeans and other Western countries are doing.
And you mentioned the protests. There's been a series of protests in Chicago, including the large one that happened yesterday. Tell us how the Palestinian community in Chicago is mobilizing and efforts to try to get aid, if they can get anything there, to the Gaza region.
So I'm the national chair for the United States Palestinian Community Network, but I'm also a spokesperson for the Chicago Coalition for Justice in Palestine, which represents all of the major Palestinian and Arab organizations in Chicagoland. And so we all have been on alert. We all have been mobilizing these emergency rallies. We've had 4 of them already. There will be another series next week. And the main message here is helping to educate the general public about what's happening here, about the fact that the Palestinians are fighting for their freedom and are defending themselves, but also a message to Durbin and Duckworth and Schakowsky and other Congress people who are supposedly representing us as constituents as well, and who have been so unequivocally in support of Israel and in condemnation of the Palestinian people. And we're telling them that they are going to be targets of our organizing as well. And they have a responsibility to all of their constituents in Illinois, and including ours, to make sure that they use the power that the United States government has as the main supporter of Israel to stop these war crimes, to stop this genocide.
Hatem, thank you so much for being here this morning. And for more information on the U.S. Palestinian Community Network, you can head to their website. It's uspcn.org. Also find them on social media.